Hello, welcome back. Thank you for joining me as we continue to go through A Course in Miracles. What we're doing here on this video series is we're making our way through the text of the Course, which is just one part, as you may well be aware. These videos, by the way, are for everyone, whether you're an experienced course student, and many of you are, or whether you're brand new, or even if you're a course student at all. It doesn't make any difference, actually, because plenty of people pop in, they find this video, let's say, rather, it finds them as it has found you. Perhaps YouTube's algorithm has recommended it, or you just noticed it somehow and clicked on it. There's a reason why you're here, and it does not make any difference whether you have any familiarity with the Course in Miracles at all. It is a universally themed, universally applicable self-study curriculum. It's not a religion, happily, not a cult, again, very happily. It's a self-study curriculum, and it doesn't make any difference what your background is or is not. It makes no difference what you're currently practicing in your spiritual journey, if anything. Makes no difference at all. So, welcome. We learn so much here in our lives through our own suffering. I mean, there's really not a better way to put that. We stumble over ourselves left and right, and we constantly see ourselves as in conflict with other people, in conflict with other groups of people, in conflict with our partners, perhaps, if we're having an argument or some sort of a disagreement. Nation states are in conflict with one another. There's conflict, and opposition and separation everywhere we look. And in this, we do our thing. We go to town, so to speak. We do our battles with one another and harm ourselves in the process. We stumble over ourselves. In world spirituality, the phrase getting in our own way pops immediately to mind. Yes, we are impeding our own progress. We're impeding our own happiness, our own joy, indeed our own identity, capital I. As we go forth thinking we're individuals, doing our thing, doing life, as we call it here, we get in our own way of recognizing the truth of who, what, and where we really are. And I know you know what that is. We stumble over ourselves. So what we need is correction, constant, as it turns out, correction, so that we may recognize what it is that we're doing to ourselves, to what appear to be other people, so that we may recognize and choose differently. It's quite that simple to recognize, become aware of how we're harming ourselves and do the opposite. Hmm. Yeah, that's what this course is all about. The summary of A Course in Miracles puts it very eloquently and very succinctly. One way that we can look at this is that we've thrown a veil over our eyes. You may find this to be a very helpful visual image, as I have. We've thrown this veil over our eyes, and we're mistaking the inside of this dark cloth, which is all we see, for reality. Yet reality stands outside of the cloth and is completely unaffected by the fact that we've donned this veil. So, what we call spiritual practice is the process of removing that veil. And that's what's going on. We're simply unaware, and unfortunately, because we've chosen to be unaware of truth. Yet truth remains true, and our reality remains completely unaffected by all of our wars and conflict and battle. So we're in the process here of learning that in truth, we can't actually be in conflict. Illusions and truth cannot be in conflict with one another. Illusions are simply not true. They're nothing. We attempt to make conflict everywhere we go. We're in conflict in our relationships, even if you're in an intimate, loving, and committed relationship, and I know many of you are. There are moments, I mean, that's simply one example. It plays out in our economic systems, it plays out in our geopolitical systems. We've made a world where conflict reigns. Yet, in truth, we can't be in conflict. Illusions, the illusion of individuality, an individual self, of which the physical body is a symbol. It appears to be separate from other physical bodies. Illusions appear to be in conflict with one another. Yet, all illusions are just that, illusions. They're not true. They're nothing. So, yes, we're making this whole thing up, and we can choose otherwise. We can choose to listen to the voice of what I refer to in this video series as our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit, who goes by many names, including multiple different names in A Course in Miracles itself. So you may certainly call it whatever you wish. We're invited to listen to this voice and look at everything in our experience, and I do mean everything, with the Holy Spirit, who sees beyond the illusions to the truth of who, what, and where we all are. All of us, together as one, in perfect oneness. So, this is what we're invited to do, and it is, in fact, a moment to moment choice. This power of decision is huge, and we're invited to exercise this. So, here in the world, yeah, one country appears to battle another, one political party appears to battle another or all others. There just appears to be so much conflict, and we think that one illusion can triumph over another. Well, they're both nothing, so how can nothing triumph over nothing? Let's think about it that way, as we're invited to do here. Chapter 23, Section 1 of the text. How can nothing triumph over nothing? It's not possible. And we're invited to give up the exhaustion of continuing to try to have nothing triumph over nothing at the expense of nothing. Nothing is nothing. Truth remains true. It remains itself, far beyond all of the drama that we hear play out. It's unaffected by it. So there really can be no conflict. And when we begin to accept that idea, our entire perception changes, which, by the way, is what this course is for. The knowledge of our reality of truth is experiential. It's beyond all learning, including this course, but this course exists here in the world so that we may learn to see with the Holy Spirit, so that we may clarify our perception and learn to see things as they really are, rather than the way that we've made them, which is the world that we appear to see all over the place. It's the one we appear to inhabit, full of conflict, strife, and pain. And we all find ourselves on the spiritual path because we're done with that, really. Tired, exhausted, just knowing that there's got to be a better way. Knowing that deep down, that there's more to it than just living out however many years we have remaining of this lifetime, doing our thing. There's a lot more meaning than that. These ideas are not ideas that most of us are taught growing up. We're conditioned to think that we're an individual human being. And that's through no fault of our own, because our school teachers and our elected leaders, our parents, everyone was conditioned the exact same way. So here we are as adults, recognizing that with this veil thrown over our faces, we keep stumbling around in the dark, and we don't have to. You do not have to. You do not have to continue to do battle against yourself, against illusions of yourself, because that's what they are. You don't have to continue to do this. You could choose to, most certainly. Most certainly. One of the possible reactions to this course, to this message, is to reject it categorically. And if you choose to, nobody's going to stop you from that. Do it, if that's what you're called to do. Yet, if you're still watching, there's been a message from the Holy Spirit for you. And you'll know what that is. We all do. We know what that is when it hits us. There's this deep inner knowing. It's what has us on the path in the first place. So we're invited to lift the veil. Is that scary at first? Yes, most certainly it can be, because this course runs 180 degrees opposite to our conditioning, yet we're still drawn to it. Yeah, the light of truth is always there. We're all drawn to it. It's what has every single living thing that's on the spiritual path, drawn to truth, because it's always there. It's eternal, beyond time. It's eternal. It's beyond our concepts of space and individuality, language, all of that. It is simply known. It can be known, in other words, experienced. So, putting this course into practice is designed to help us bring about this clarified perception. When we do this, when we see things as they really are, truth dawns of itself. That's what we refer to as enlightenment, awakening. Now, you may have glimpses of this along the way, and many of you have. If you haven't, don't worry about it. You may. And if you've had one, the experience most certainly stays with you. Yet you could just as easily find yourself 5 minutes later sucked into your social media feed and judging and blaming and having all kinds of conflicting thoughts again as we return to this world of conflict that we don't have to continue to engage ourselves in. So, my hope in offering this discussion and all of the discussions is that it inspires you to practice, to extend love, to extend the miracle of true forgiveness to every living thing. And if you find yourself not able to go there, that's fine. Extend it to yourself. Extend it to the weather, a passing cloud that obscures the sunlight. We all have multiple opportunities every day to practice this material. And along the way, should you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer those. This comment thread on YouTube is, in fact, a very good place. It's the perfect place, actually, to ask questions if you have them. And they can be about A Course in Miracles specifically or spirituality in general. Doesn't make any difference. And if you wish to simply pop in and say hello, I'd love to hear from you. You're more than welcome to do that. So if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do that too. That's the prompt in the corner of your screen, that icon here in the corner. Click that. You'll be invited to subscribe and join us. And thank you to those of you who have recently done just that. It's an international community. People are here from all over the world, which is a beautiful thing. And we're using this technology, especially this big platform called YouTube, to share the Holy Spirit. That's what's going on here. So I thank you, as always, for tuning in, and I'll see you again very soon. Oh, by the way, subscribe again if you haven't. Okay? Thank you. See ya.